Pep Guardiola, Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, all great managers in their own respect. But there's one that's left unnoticed, the enigmatic Roy Hodgson. But today we're not just talking about the highs and lows of his career, we're delving into the mystery surrounding Hodgson. Is he really the seasoned manager we all know, or is there more to the story? From Halmstad's BK in the late 70s, that's right, the 70s, to his current stint at Crystal Palace, Hodgson's managerial journey makes you wonder, could there be more than one Roy Hodgson? Today we unravel the peculiarities, explore the hidden corners of his career. Is he a time traveller, a footballing magician, or realistically, he's just an old bloke, to be honest? Hit that subscribe button, buckle up, and join me as I'm going to embark on this wild ride through Roy Hodgson's managerial career. Welcome to the Roy Hodgson Conspiracy. Roy Hodgson was born in Croydon in 1947, only 2 years after World War II. Hodgson was a moderately successful youth player with Crystal Palace, but was never able to make it into the first team. He went into playing Sunday League for a few years before completing a coaching badge, then moving to Pretoria in South Africa. Why South Africa? To play for a team called Berea Park FC, even though there was a sporting boycott at the time. After researching Berea, they were an actual team, so the timelines do match up. But for some reason, they played in the NFL. Roy could do anything.
Let's not take the piss here.
His managerial career began in 1976 for Swedish team Halmstad's BK. His managerial career really took off at Malmo in 1985, the same year Back to the Future was released. Speaking of Back to the Future, after leading Malmo to 5 consecutive league championships, 2 Swedish championships, fans then referred to him as Royson, joking that his tactical style of play was ahead of his time, using a very recognisable formation throughout his spell at Malmo known as the Christmas tree formation, or you may know it as 4-2-3-1. Bear in mind, 4-2-3-1 didn't become recognised until 2008, as it is what Spain used when they won the World Cup in 2010. So just how exactly did Roy Hodgson know in the 1980s that this was a smart formation to use? Influence on Swedish football. Hodgson's main style of play in Sweden involved his team counter-attacking with long passes played in behind the opposition's defence, very similar to Leicester City's style of play in their title-winning season of 2015-16, where they counter-attacked in the same way with very few passes, simply playing the ball to Vardy to slot the ball in the corner. Fast forward to 1995, where Roy Hodgson took over at Inter. In an interview with 442 magazine from 2005, Roberto Carlos stated that he had difficulties with Hodgson throughout the 1995-96 season, and that his decision to leave Inter at the end of the season was largely due to Hodgson's refusal to field him in his preferred position as a left-back, utilising him as today what is known as a left wing-back. You see this being used by many teams because it provides the team's width, gives a passing option for the team to build and progress around the opposition that they're playing against. If you observe some clips of Inter Milan playing under Hodgson, you see this being impactful and looking very similar to modern football today. Fast forward to 2009, after managing Viking, Finland and the UAE, Hodgson became manager of struggling side Fulham and got to work in the transfer market, immediately signing Chris Smalling, Bobby Zamora and goalkeeper Mark Schwarzer, all players who weren't known particularly at the time, but over the years developed into very strong players. It's like he's playing Football Manager, just looking at the 5-star potential rating and signing them. With the help of his new recruited players, on 29th of April 2010, Hodgson guided Fulham to their first major European final. They then went on to play Atletico Madrid in the final, but unfortunately losing out on penalties. His incredible spell at Fulham led to Hodgson being voted the 2010 Manager of the Year by a record margin. He then went on to manage Liverpool in the 2010-11 season, but didn't really go to plan for him, and he got dismissed in early 2011. Fast forward to his managerial career at England, and it started out a bit shaky.
I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a bit shaky, you know? I mean, I'm a little bit weak.
After leaving out former England captain Rio Ferdinand, they ended up being knocked out in the quarter-finals after drawing 0-0 with Italy before going out 4-2 on penalties. Throughout his 4-year spell as manager of England, Hodgson ended it in a spectacular fashion, getting knocked out by Iceland in Euro 2016. But hey, that's a video for another time. Hodgson then had a brief spell at Watford before moving to his current position as manager of Crystal Palace. Throughout the nearly 50 years of management, the question still remains: how has he been in the game for such a long time? How did he know how to use the 4-2-3-1 formation? How did he know to play counter-attacking football in the 80s, similar to what Leicester used in 2016? Is he a time traveller, or is he just good with ball knowledge? Will we ever see him retire? Or is Roy Hodgson the epitome of English football, and without him, the sport would cease to exist? Or, most likely, somehow he's just managed to get rehired throughout all these years. I've been TFJ, you've been watching Football Phenomena. Take care, peace, and I'll see you in the next one.